We all have influence in the lives of others, whether it's in our families or in our workplace or at church or school, and certainly in the lives of fellow daughters of the King. Today, I want to look at Jesus' model of how to care for others. And it's over breakfast, which is always nice. And it's a very special time of conversation too. This is the Everyday Princess. Hi, I'm Leanne. Isn't it wonderful that being a daughter of the King transforms our everyday lives, and we can help each other learn and grow and encourage each other along the way? Well, I'd like to take a look at John 21. It's a wonderful story where Jesus makes breakfast at the seaside and waits for his disciples to come in from fishing. And they didn't catch anything, and he calls out, "Did you catch something?" And they said no, and he said, "Drop the fish net down the other side of the boat," and they did it. And they caught 153 fish. And then they recognized that it was Jesus who had risen from the dead, and this was his third appearing since his rising from the dead. And over breakfast, they have this wonderful conversation, this life-giving conversation that influences the lives of these 7 men. I was working at a leader training seminar last week with 2 wonderful colleagues, and we did this study. We looked at John 21 and how Jesus knew the disciples, connected with the disciples, provided for the disciples, and protected them too. So how is this possible? Well, let's take a look. So in John 21, first we see how Jesus knew them. Okay, for example, Jesus knew that they would be out fishing and come in early and hungry. He also knew, in his case as God, that they didn't have any fish. And he knew them well enough to call them friend. And in some translations, it's even children, which is a loving word to say. He also knew that as he cooked these fish over a charcoal fire, that this smell would remind Peter of when he denied Christ. But there's healing coming. So that's knowing them. And obviously he knew their names too. So in your life, is there somebody you can think of? What do you know about this person? Do you know their name? Do you know their life situation? Do you know their concerns? Do you know some of their failures? Obviously it depends on the relationship and the situation, how much you know, but it can be used for good. And the second thing is Jesus connected with them. He spent time with them. He asked questions. He listened. He felt their pain. I'm convinced that that charcoal fire is just a loving way of saying, I know, Peter, that you denied me and you were standing by a charcoal fire when you said it. And that smell is reminding you right now. But I want to bring healing to you. It's just a wonderful story. And he also asked questions like, do you love me? And he didn't ask it once, he asked it 3 times. And Peter's like, Lord, you know me. And I know that you know everything. And you know that I love you. And it's good to say these things out loud. And can be very healing to say them out loud. And that's a wonderful part of conversation, is being heard and having somebody step into your shoes and feel your pain. Empathy, it doesn't necessarily mean you agree with their perspective. It means you want to empathize with their situation. So is there somebody that you know and you need to step into their shoes for a moment and say, what is it like to be in this person's position? And what questions can I ask? And how can I spend a little bit of time or even just write a text just to connect and find out how they're really doing and to let them know they're being heard and they're being understood. So Jesus did that over a fire and over breakfast. And the third one was Jesus also provided. He provided breakfast. He knew that they would be hungry coming in from working in the wee hours of the morning. He knew where they would be. He had it already cooked. Isn't that nice? And he also offered a plan to be more fruitful. He told them, when they said no, they hadn't caught fish, he said, drop the net down the other side. And they listened. And that's what happens. Listen to the Lord and there'll be fruit. A very good lesson. He also provided good working relationships, because I'm sure that the disciples knew that Peter had denied Christ 3 times. And this is a heartbreaking thing for Peter. And by bringing this up in front of the other disciples, he was able to bring clarity and forgiveness and to provide a good working atmosphere for these disciples to encourage each other and to minister together. So nothing hidden, no big elephant in the room that nobody was talking about. And he also provided a job. He told Peter, when he said, do you love me 3 times? He also said, tend my sheep and feed my sheep. He gave him a very clear job to do, to go out and share about Jesus and to take care of those people and to feed them, to give them what they needed so they could grow. So is there somebody in your life? Perhaps it's someone you've thought about for who you know and how you can connect with them more. And also, what is something that you can do to provide for them? There's many opportunities. It could be a meal. It could be maybe they need help thinking through a plan, or maybe they need help in understanding something. But there's many different ways. So you can ask the Lord, how can I help provide for this person? I'm not talking about supporting them for the rest of their lives, obviously, but in this moment, what can I do to help them and provide for them so that they will be able to grow and learn? And the final one is to protect. And in this situation, what I saw first off was that Jesus, by bringing this out into the open and saying, I'm giving you a job to do, Peter, and yes, here you've got an opportunity to say 3 times to me that you love me. And it's like starting fresh. After Peter had denied Jesus 3 times, here he has this wonderful opportunity for a second chance. And he obviously loves the Lord. And also, there was another point, and this was really wonderful from this Bible study that we did in the seminar last week, is that another protection was, it was a protection for Peter's heart, that he wouldn't doubt his love for Jesus. He was given an opportunity to say it out loud and to say it with Jesus and in front of others, and he could clearly say, I love Jesus. So the danger of doubting that love because he had denied Jesus would be wiped away, and he could move forward and be fruitful and tell others about Jesus. So here are on the screen are the 4 aspects of care that Jesus modeled. Number 1, know, which is about being familiar with that person and their life situation, their strengths, their weaknesses, their life phase, their gifts, maybe even their hopes and dreams. And then connect is the second one, and that's about understanding life from their perspective and showing empathy. Provide. It can be something as simple as a breakfast, or it can be a listening ear, or it can be something that they need that you have and you can offer them, whether it's a laptop or a phone or a book, or perhaps even an introduction to somebody who actually has a story that would help them. There's many ways to provide. And the 4th one is protect. And protect is about safety. That obviously depends on the person, the age, the situation. It's, for example, a child, you can offer safety by taking their hand when they cross the road. But in a work situation, you can offer safety if you're the boss or have responsibility by making sure that the work environment is safe and fair and orderly even. But you can also protect a person from themselves. If you know somebody and you've connected with them and they know you care, then you can say, hey, what you're about to do is really not good. And this is what I'm thinking it is. And would you just stop and consider this? That can be protection too. Because We all do dumb things. I know I do. So those are the 4 things. And a quick run through with an example is I do an English channel with my sons. It's called Leanne and Johnny's English Time. Another episode, I'll tell you more about it. But just very briefly to give you a sample. When we film, it's an all-day experience pretty much, and we try and get 2 videos done. And I like to get it done quick and not have too many retakes. And Jonathan, I discovered when I made one little mistake and he restarted the video, and I said, we don't need to start. He goes, Mom, there's something you need to know about me. Oh, okay. I listened. And he said, I'm happy with redoing it a lot of times so that we get it really done well. Me, I was happy with one little mistake and he wasn't. So this is something I now know about him, and it made a difference in how I responded. And so then when it came to connecting with him, then when we started to film, I said, okay, I'm trying to put myself in your shoes, and I'm thinking, okay, here's our next take and there'll be 10 more. It turned out we took it on that one and was done, but I tried to put myself in his shoes so I could see what was important to him. And he actually did the same for me. So that was very nice. And then to provide, when we were doing the editing, I have a very old computer, and it was so old that every time you tried to edit something, we had to wait 15 or 20 seconds for it to process the one move. And so I realized that I needed to get a new laptop. It was long overdue, and that was time. And it was clear to me I needed to provide a better computer or we would never get our editing done. And the 4th one was to protect. We were trying to do 2 videos a week, and so that meant preparing the script. Thankfully, we had help, and it meant getting the set ready. It meant doing the filming and the editing. So it was a lot. And it came a point where I said, okay, in order to protect all of us, we're going to take a break. And I said, we'll take at least a 2-week break from filming and just everybody relax. And so that was a way to protect us from burning out. And we still have a plan. We're going to do 2 next week, and we're going to do 3 probably the week after that. And then we're done. We've got all 19 videos done. So that's just a quick example of know, connect, provide, and protect. Now, my question to you is, can you stop and think right now of just one person or one situation where you would like to care for somebody? And think through, what do I know about them? How can I connect with them? Ask them questions, spend some time, see life from their perspective. What do they need? I'm not talking about doing what they can do for themselves, but helping them, providing for them something that will help them be successful in whatever the situation is. And the 4th one is to protect. So what is there in your life, in your role, in relationship with them, where you can offer them safety? It may just be a place where they can come and sit and talk with you for an hour and know that what they say is not going anywhere. I mean, it can, in a serious situation, mean you call the police. Hopefully that's not the case. But there are many steps in between where you can offer protection from others, but also from themselves, and make the situation a little safer. And it could be a question of you guys having an honest conversation, and that gives them the safety they need to be able to express what they want to express. So my prayer is that you will consider one person and how you can know, provide, and how you can know, connect, provide, and protect. It can just be a moment in time, or it can be a long-term relationship, or it can be at work and it's your employees you're looking out for, or it can be somebody at church who needs some care. We're called to love one another, and Jesus is a model of how wonderfully that can happen. This is the Everyday Princess. And if you want to subscribe, go ahead and tap on that and hit the bell. And also, if you can think of somebody that this video would encourage, then please do share it. I would be thrilled to have this go to somebody who needs it. That's my prayer. The Lord bless you. See you next week.